I am Nate, Duke of the Spectacular Talks. My voice is to this channel, and I will lead you to the review of Dune Part 2. Okay, well, with that intro out of the way, yes, I saw Dune Part 2. One of the anticipated movies I had this year. Well, next to Deadpool 3, obviously. But man, that was a good movie. I'm saying it for sure. This is a great movie and definitely is going to be one of the best movies of 2023. Now, I actually enjoyed the first Dune movie. It got me, I became a fan of the series after I saw that first movie. I even made me read the book, the first book specifically. And if you know me, I can't read books besides comic books. It's hard for me to just sit there and just read a book. But, you know, for Dune, I was pretty interested in the whole storytelling. I like the setting, I like the whole idea of it, I like the characters. I like this story. I thought it's an amazing story, and when this movie came out, I was very excited for the second one. And boy, did it exceed standards. I'm telling you, this movie is definitely one of the best sequels out there. Yes, best sequels like The Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back, Spider-Man 2, Across the Spider-Verse, and probably many other sequels that I've seen out there. I'm even going to say this, and it might feel a little bit controversial because it's a new movie or anything, but Dune 2 is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. Well, one of them. I have a lot of favorite movies, but it's definitely up there with my favorite movies out there. Yes, me. I really like Dune. It comes to that point to where I love this movie, and it's just up there because the whole new storytelling, the arc that this movie gave off was amazing. So now this is where the review starts. One of the things I want to talk about that people had a big problem with the last movie was the pacing. For me, I don't really mind the pacing for the last one. I thought some parts of it were a bit too long, which it didn't really destroy that movie for me. I still liked it. I still liked it, even with the whole slow pacing. But this movie, for me at least, I know some people are gonna think it's long, but I didn't really think it was long. I thought it was a perfect time of the movie. It wasn't too short, wasn't too long. It was at a perfect time. The cliffhanger happened to a point where it ends off that story, but there's still a lot more to tell left. So it kind of had a conclusion to that part of the story and not just leaving on a big cliffhanger. For me, I feel like that's what a movie that Across the Spider-Verse did. I feel like it left a little bit of a good spot where you're very happy of what you originally got with the movie, and now there's still a lot more left to tell. I felt the same way with Dune Part 2. The pacing was on point, was perfect. And I didn't think it was that long. At least with me, I thought it was a perfect time. But I know some people who might not be into long movies will probably complain about that a little bit. But not for me. People in the development in this movie definitely poured their hearts and souls. I'm talking about the editors, directors, visual effects, actors. They all played their part in the movie. Every character was amazing. You didn't hate a character in this movie, even though you know how bad they are. But you still think that, wow, this actor put 100% into this character. Everybody in this movie poured their hearts and souls into this movie, because I don't even see a single person slacking in this movie. Everyone in this movie did the part that it did well or exceeded. Specifically, I want to talk about Timothée Chalamet. His part as Paul was just fantastic in this movie. It's crazy to see Paul be this one kid who lived in like a king-like world, people were treating him with respect, always obeying the orders of his parents, to now him being a leader of the Fremen, him seeking revenge to those who killed his family. And it's crazy to see that change. So, I want to say quickly, but at a good amount of pace. Because you got to understand that Dune Part 2 takes place right after the events of the first Dune. So it's a pretty big change for this character. Every actor in this movie, I'd say, as I said before, was amazing. When it came to Zendaya with Chani, I'm pretty sure. When it comes to Josh Brolin for Gurney, or Lady Jessica, everybody was great. Now, I want to talk about this number one thing that people are talking about. Now, if you know, Dune actually came out before Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, movies like that. It came out, I think, 1964, I want to say. And apparently, Dune was a movie that inspired a lot of sci-fi movies that you see now, like Star Wars. And now people are going a little bit crazy, thinking that Paul and Anakin are the same kind of characters, and how Star Wars kind of took that from Paul. Now, here's my response to that. because that's not true. They're not the same characters, okay? I do agree that Anakin and Paul have a lot of similarities. You see where they're both coming from. But that doesn't mean they're the same characters, though. They have different arcs. They are not the exact same characters. They're similar, yes. Just because Dune came out before Star Wars and all that stuff, and it kind of inspired that stuff, does not mean they stole their ideas. I don't understand why some people were saying that. It's not true. They're similar. They're not the same, though. Let me give you an example. Think of Homelander and Superman. Now, same abilities, yes, but they don't have the same goals. They both have different, things they want to do, different ways of doing things. They have the same abilities, but they're just not 100% like each other. I do agree that Anakin and Paul are similar characters. I agree with that. I like Anakin. He's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. And now, I like Paul. He's one of my new favorite fictional characters out there. I like that, but it doesn't mean that they're exactly the same. They're not. They just have different arcs. They both have different backstories. It's just, I understand that whole concept that you're... Even to the ending where Paul fights Elvis Presley. I'm calling him Elvis Presley, I guess. But he fights Elvis Presley. That was a amazing fight scene between both of those guys. It was cool just seeing him lose at first, but then he redeems himself back. It was just amazing from start to finish. Every action sequence in this movie, every cool CGI moment was amazing. Now, speaking of the villains, I liked how they kind of showed the point of view of what the villains were kind of doing. How Elvis Presley was in the battle arena for his birthday, just slaughtering people, killing them, and his uncle was just watching, going, "Happy birthday, son." What, son? Oh. Turn it up. Anyways, moving on. I liked how we got to see a perfect amount of his character arc in this movie instead of just seeing all the Fremen. You can see what kind of character he is, why he's really doing it, and his obsessions with cutting himself with the blade.
Stop it. Get some help.
Anyways, now we're on the topic of the villains. I want to talk about this one villain that was in this movie, Glossu. Glossu, I did not like how they did him in this movie. He was so pushed aside by Elvis Presley. I didn't like that because he was pretty good in the last movie, but he was just pushed aside. You barely see him in this movie. He's killed off so easily by Gurney. I wanted more of a better fight scene. He just walks up to him, stabs him, and yeah, that was kind of sucked because this character was pretty good and he did him so dirty. I forgot a lot of the time that he was actually in this movie, and that kind of sucked because I wanted to see a little bit more of him after I watched the first movie because I thought he was a pretty good villain. Also, the villains in here, they're good, but I wouldn't say they're the greatest villains of all time that I've seen. I feel like I've seen a little bit better villains out there. But still, even with that one single flaw, this movie is still amazing, fantastic. Every point of this movie just was amazing. Some of the characters in this movie kind of follow that same, change in their arc like Paul was, how he kind of became a new man, changing, starting off a whole war, those shooting sequences that happen. He's not the only character that really changes this movie. You can see Chani, a girl who was his love interest. He basically pushes her aside after he says, "No, I want that chick if I defeat Elvis Presley." Yeah, man, Paul really wants to be a playboy. Bro thinks he's actually Bruce Wayne. See where these characters like Chani started to change too. How she's gonna go off and do her own thing. She's the only person that doesn't really agree with Paul's whole new plan out of the Fremen. She believes that he changed their minds, people, and make them agree to fight his problems. He wants to seek revenge to those people. And she doesn't like that. She even told him at the beginning how you have a lot of power, but he says he doesn't want to do it for power. And you see where he really messed up because she kind of lied to him. And that was just played off very well. If you had not seen Dune Part 2 and you saw the first one and you enjoyed it, I recommend to go see it. It's an amazing movie. Now, one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm actually saying this. If you weren't a biggest fan of Dune Part 1, I still say you should go give it a watch. Who knows, maybe I could change your whole mind. But this movie was very, very, very well done. I say you should go watch it if you're a Dune fan or a science fiction fan, Star Wars fan, Harry Potter fan. Go check it out. It has that chosen one story arc in this movie. It's a very, very, very good story, well developed, well made. Go check it out. Now, this is the first review I've done on this channel, and I hope you guys like it. I'm gonna do more of these. I'm gonna post more media about movie news, video game news, any nerdy news that comes out. I'm gonna try to cover. I'm really confident in this channel, and I can't wait to see me do more. I hope you like this video, and I hope you guys like Dune 2 as well.